Hi, hello, and welcome back to Cricstatic Season 3, powered by Wannaby. I am Tasmay Krishnan, the show host who brings you the most. And without any further ado, I want to delve into this analysis and I'll address my sponsors and I'll address this game, which has rejuvenated my cricketing enthrallment back in the T20 format. And this is exactly what CSK wanted: two must-win games to make it to the top four, and they're leaving no stone unturned to put in the maximum amount of effort to qualify ahead of the Royal Challengers Bangalore, who seem to be the only threat as of sorts to make it to that top four. And to begin, Sanju Samson, when he won the toss, decided to bat first under the notion that it was very hot. It was almost 39 degrees yesterday. He wanted to put the CSK players out there in the sun and tire them out so that they're a little tired while they're batting. And the idea was right, but he didn't take into consideration the fact that this was a wicket that had been used thrice. So it was a very sluggish surface coming on to bat early on, and they didn't get the start that they wanted. Yashasvi Jaiswal had a very dismal start, 24 of 21 deliveries, if I'm not wrong. And his opening partner, Just the Boss, not as of yesterday, had 21 of 25 deliveries. And these two numbers, for these two figures of what I've read out for these two players, is something that a lot of people might not believe me. But I must say, more than the surface being a sluggish surface, it was CSK's pinpoint bowling, and the credit not only goes to that bowling contingent, it also has to go to bowling coach DJ Bravo. He has done a phenomenal job. You can see him around there in the boundaries. Even when I was in the stadium, I could see that Bravo was constantly talking with Ruturaj Gaikwad. And I'm someone who doesn't believe in micromanagement, but it seems to be working for CSK. And Dwayne Bravo has done a great job ever since taking over the role as the bowling coach of CSK. And I think the plans were very clear, and hence the execution, you could see it. And I must say, the way Tushar Deshpande has come about 2 overs, 30 runs in his 4 overs, he was exceptional yesterday once again. Picks up wickets in his third over, and he comes back in overs from 16 to ranging from 16 to 20, and has got 9 wickets and 11 after yesterday's game. So it being a day game, first of all, immediately gave everyone the somewhat of the anticipation of Sanju Samson choosing to bat first. But could he have been a little more analytical by looking into how the surface would play out? Then probably this could have been a different result altogether. But nevertheless, that's food for thought for another day. Toss is something we can't control, but the decisions you make in the tosses are something you can. And I would expect someone like Ravichandran Ashwin who could have stepped in there and given this fact as well. You never know what the thinking in the dugout was. But again, I must say the plans were very clear, and Simarjeet Singh bowled wonderfully. He was too good yesterday. He executed his plans to perfection, ran in and bowled that nudging length. That back of the length is the length that most batters find very hard to play, and that's exactly what got in the wickets of both Yashasvi Jaiswal and to Josh Butler. It was in the back of the length, but it was that length that caused Josh Butler to go for that shot, because you could see that they were struggling to play Mahesh Theekshana as well. Bringing in Theekshana was a very good decision. 4 overs, 28 for him, only 7 and over. Each time they were trying to make room, you could see that Theekshana wouldn't let go. He was following, the batters. And one more thing with Theekshana yesterday was he was a little on the fuller side. You could see it with Riyan Parag. You could see it with Josh Butler. He tried to make them make a mistake, and he bowled it extremely quick at that length, 104, 105. And I wonder why he went for that length. That's still something I haven't figured out. But if you ask me on my assessment of why he went so full to the batters, I think it's nothing else but because he tried to see whether they would take the aggressive route and take an edge, because he had a backward point that was stationed somewhat like a short third man. The short third man and backward point were very close. So he expected the ball to take an edge going for the shot or heave straight and go to it. So I think that was the thinking. But barring that, I don't see any other thought process that has been given to that. And again, Shardul Thakur playing a very underrated role once again. 4 overs, 32 runs, I think, for him, Shardul Thakur. Once again, he came in the hard stages of the game and executed his plans. And this is once again a testament of how DJ Bravo has taken over and done his job extremely well. He has really helped the bowlers come about their death bowling. And that takes me on to the next bowler. Again, very unlucky, because he had Mahesh Theekshana, who has to improve his fielding skills at deep covers, I must say, because Ravindra Jadeja was bowling wonderfully. Once again, he was on the fuller side. So I think the spinners were instructed that coming into this game, bowl on the fuller side, because Josh Butler can't play quick, on the quicker balls on the fuller side, and anything that is on the middle stump for a pacer and angling inwards, because he's gotten bowled many a times when the ball is pitching on the length and coming inwards. And Siraj had done that in the previous year's edition of the IPL as well. So There's a lot to talk about that, but I must say it was very much, I think very unlucky on Jadeja's side to not get a dismissal, but he was very good with the ball, was Ravindra Jadeja. He was keeping, once again, he didn't try to give too much finger onto the ball. He was sliding the ball. And Jadeja is someone who's not a great exploiter of the side spin. You can always see Jadeja's seam rolling straight. He likes to, snap the ball, fingers on the ball. He's the traditional left arm spinner, but he just gets that extra turn off the surface if there's any assistance. And yesterday you could see that there was a hint of side spin in his third over, especially. You could see that. And he did the same to Ashutosh Sharma, and my boss pointed this out to me, Surya, once again, with the analytical perspectives. And coming on to, the way Rajasthan Royals batted, after that, Sanju Samson was choked. To put it in simple words, he was choked. And Sanju Samson has found it hard when you bowl it on that hard length. He doesn't know whether to defend you. He doesn't know whether he can, to go for the shot, because more often than not, he was getting hit on his pad, and he got caught to Jasprit Bumrah on that same length. He got bowled versus the Delhi Capitals. He was struggling to get runs off that hard length, and Simarjeet Singh once again exploiting it, and Rutraj Gaikwad. After that, he mixed it up wonderfully. He bowled a little fuller, and Rutraj in mid-off pouched an easy one. And you will see DJ Bravo's reaction. It was very wholesome. Coming on to the way, again, Riyan Parag played a very, very fortifying innings. I think it was worth as good as 50, that 47 that he played. Played a few aggressive strokes, did Riyan Parag. He played 47 of 35. And I must say that was the only positive in the RR contingent. Had Riyan Parag played at 20, then it wouldn't have been of any use to them. Shubham Dubey getting out for a golden duck, for the amount of talent that man possesses, it's a big letdown in all honesty. And I must say, Dhruv Jurel scoring 28 of 18, once again played a good cameo, but again, Tushar Deshpande coming in and doing what he does best. He was on a hat-trick. We expected him to strike, but unfortunately it couldn't happen. And I want to talk about Ravichandran Ashwin, and I'll address how he bowled, but I just want to talk about Ashwin in general and the reception that he got once he entered the ground. That is what you call a cricketing legend. Yes, I am biased towards Ashwin because I'm a huge fan of his, spin bowling mastery and craft, but I must say, the stadium was probably as loud, or probably a notch shorter, loud with regard to the loudness. When MSD walks in, Ashwin almost got the exact magnitude of fandom. Every single person in the stadium was shouting for Ravichandran Ashwin, and it was truly amazing to see the reception that the man had gotten. And again, I think that's once again that's a big appreciation out there for the Chepak crowd. We're one of the most hospitable crowds in comparison to the north. You can see how the other teams are treated there, but the lap of honor from Pakistan, whether it was how Pakistan felt they were more at home in Chepak, whether it's how Australia felt that Chepak was a very welcoming crowd. I think Chepak has always been that kind of a crowd, and again, for a hometown boy, Ravichandran Ashwin, to receive that kind of reception, it was truly wonderful to see. And that takes me on to the Chennai Super Kings batting, and I'll address the Rajasthan bowling as I go about that as well. So Rachin Ravindra's 27 of 18 and Daryl Mitchell's 22 of 13 will go as one of the most underrated knocks, because after the first innings, it weathered down to an even slower wicket, so it was going to become extremely hard to make runs on it. But I must say, the way Rachin capitalized, 27 of 18 and Daryl 22 of 13, they played the strokes from ball one. I think that was the signal, that was the clarity given from the dugout from Mike Hussey and Stephen Fleming, that Rutraj Gaikwad played one of the most composed and one of the most mature innings that you can ever see, a testament to his temperament and skill. Too good from the Rutraj Gaikwad. Again, a lot of people, who don't know the game will talk about strike rate, and, anchoring has become a word that has been mocked a lot, but I must say, this was a perfect case of anchoring. It's not that he couldn't get going. It was that he realized that if he has to take the game forward and wickets fall, he doesn't want another debacle. So he just decided to bat, he decided to bat through the 20 overs. Like MS always says, that an opener is not someone who exploits the power play and leaves. He's someone who bats all the 20 overs. That's why he opens the batting. He said, I'm going to provide that stability. Everyone else can bat around me. And that was truly exceptional. Daryl Mitchell, Rachin Ravindra were given that license, given that CSK bat still number 9 with Tushar Deshpande notching up 100 in the Ranji Trophy at number 11. So when you were given that kind of a license, why not go for the shots from ball one? And that is exactly what they did. And Rachin Ravindra was scalped courtesy some wonderful bowling from the hometown boy Ravichandran Ashwin. He was too good. And I'll address him when I come to the RR bowling. But even Rutraj Gaikwad, not a lot of flamboyant strokes, 2 sixes and a boundary. That's all that he got. But I must say, the runs that he has gotten there, the maturity that he showcased, that was a captain's knock. In my opinion, this knock was worth a 70. Because I've seen in many occasions that a low scoring total, like a low score from the first innings, can sometimes, make the captain complacent and the captain goes for runs from ball one. And you could see that Rutraj was very composed. He decided to hold his wicket, hold his ground, and it's not like he didn't play his strokes. He was rotating it wonderfully, and the signal was quite clear. You could see it with Shivam Dube, 18 of 11. You could see it with Moeen Ali, 10 of 13. And this is where I want to talk about a little bit of Ashwin, because when Ashwin came back for that third over, I think it was 3 overs 20 for 1. He came back to bowl. Dube hammers him, gets one through the offside, one straight, went miles above the sky, would have almost met with the Chandrayaan. And then, when Ashwin comes on to bowl for the 3.5, I think it was 3.5 when he struck, when he got his wicket, he comes in and he still floats the ball up. That is a modern day legend. That's a modern day great with regard to spin bowling finesse, because anyone else would have gone back to sticking to that length where you don't take that, not the wicket taking length, the run restricting length. But Ashwin said, you know what, if you're going to bang me, straight above my fielders, then you know what, you do it, because you are hitting me off a good stroke. He recognized that and he said, I am going to bowl up. There's definitely a chance of a mistake being made. And Shivam Dube, who's reputed as a spin hitting monster, was restricted by R. Ashwin. And in fact, I remember sending a message in my group saying that Dube versus Ashwin will be a very interesting battle. Nothing else was because Dube hammers spin and Ashwin outsmarts the batsman as always. So Ravichandran and Ashwin having the last laugh at the end of it all. And now, coming on to Ravindra Jadeja's controversial dismissal, obstructing the play was the dismissal there for which he has gotten out. And I will address this dismissal, but I'll be throwing out a YouTube shots as well. So I'm not going to analyze it too much in detail now. A specific YouTube shots regarding Jadeja's wicket will be released tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But all I can say is Jadeja was out. When that happened, at that very instant, I remember typing a story saying that this was not out and there was no logic to it. It was completely illogical according to me. But now that I looked at the law, now that I did some research on MCC law 37.1 that talks about obstructing the play, I found out that I was wrong. So I'll explain to you all through my YouTube shots I'll be releasing. Stay tuned for that. I've got an exciting segment releasing too, gone in 60 seconds, and you all will be very excited with that. Just like you should be excited with our podcast sponsors, Wannaby. They're an all-exclusive buyers-only renting portal for anything real estate. Whether you want to buy a property, whether you want to rent a land, you've got every single base covered there. All you have to do is visit their website, www.wannaby.in. Or if you want a more user-friendly interface for any more, anything which you feel will best suit you best, please do download their app as well, Wannaby app. They've got some exciting B2C and C2C services, a lot of exciting projects in the pipeline, including Wannaby vehicles. So if you want anything, again, as I'm saying, regarding real estate, don't slog in this heat outside there. It's very hot. It's almost 39 degrees there in the morning. So please do visit Wannaby. And if you have any inquiries, you can always reach out to them on their Insta handle, Wannaby Official. And now coming on to the Rajasthan Royals bowling. I'm going to read out the economies. 1 second. Yeah. So Trent bowled 2.2 for 24. I think RR were under the notion that this is a good total, a defendable total, provided that Trent Bolt struck in that power play. And that didn't happen. We have seen it happen so often that we almost expected that to happen once again. But again, it was something that didn't translate onto reality. Sandeep Sharma 3 for 30. They were expecting a good spell from Sandeep too. I think they were over-reliant there, and bringing in Andre Berger as the impact player and not bowling him in the power play ahead of Keshav Maharaj too. Make no mistake, because this service seemed a little slow. And with Ravichandran Ashwin was picking up wickets there, I didn't see why they didn't bring in Keshav Maharaj, because Keshav Maharaj could have had a little bit of turn off the surface, a little bit of grip. He's a little faster through the air, and you saw what Mahesh Tikshana did. He was bowling at 104. Jadeja was bowling at 104. So you could see that the faster spin was what they were going for. And looking at that, I definitely thought Keshav Maharaj would come into the party, given the fact that he had two left-handers in the form of Shivam Dube, three left-handers in the form of Shivam Dube, Moeen Ali and Rachin Ravindra, with a possible starting in the power play as well, because you have an extra spinner then to use in your arsenal. And not bowling Riyan Parag too is very perplexing. I would have given it a shot nonetheless. But bringing in Andre Berger and utilizing him the way they did, I felt he was underutilized despite bowling a good spell, 3 overs, 21 for 1. I felt he could have bowled one more in the power play, and I think they tried to use him like how CSK used Shardul Thakur, and I think that's where they screwed up big time. Yuzvendra Chahal had a good game that I think now in the run up to the T20 World Cup, and him being there in the squad is very important that Telly comes back to squad. Telly, as MS Dhoni used to call him. And Avesh Khan, 2 overs for 12 runs. Why wasn't he given another over? Once again, Sanju Samson, that's a question that should be answered. But nevertheless, it was a great game of cricket in all honesty. And a lot of people had asked, is this Tala's last game at the Chepauk? Now, let me explain the qualification scenario, and after which I'll explain if this would be MSD's last game at Chepauk. Now, CSK versus RCB will be the defining game. If CSK outs the Royal Challengers Bangalore, they make it to the playoffs. But for RCB to qualify, yes, they've got to win, no doubt about that. But they've got to either beat CSK. Let's say the target is 200. They've got to be able to defend it and win by 18 runs, by a margin of 18 runs. Or they've got to chase it down in 18.1 overs. So this is going to be an extremely exciting game. And all the games that are going to come up now are going to be very exciting to watch. So I'm really looking forward to how it works out now, because a lot of results have to go in favor of RCB. A few results have to go in favor of the Chennai Super Kings for both the sides to make it to the playoffs. I'm hoping that CSK do, because of that man there on top. And now addressing whether this could be Dhoni's last season. How do I put this? If you want me to put it in a non-biased perspective, then either ways it's still going to be a yes. I think this is very much a swan song. And I say this before because, one, you can see that he's hobbling with that knee. He's not finding it very easy. He's got a muscle tear there. And in all honesty, he is batting at a position in which you can accommodate an extra fast bowler. And whether you would like another wicket keeper, who is going to be a wicket keeper, I think that's definitely going to be there in the thought process for CSK next year. I think Amanish Rao Aravalli was brought not only because of how he plays, but because they just wanted a backup wicket keeper in the mix, because they weren't aware of Devon Conway missing out on this leg of the IPL. But I must say, this does look certainly Tala's last season in the IPL. And there's a good chance that he might be playing his last game at the Chepauk on May 26th or the May 24th. And I hope it's one of those two games, ideally May 26th. And I'm predicting these two teams for the finals as well. CSK versus RR or CSK versus KKR also has a slight chance there. So, we're going to be in for a great playoffs, eliminator, qualifier 1, qualifier 2 and finals. So if you want to know my thoughts more about this, you know exactly what you have to do. Kindly subscribe to Cricstatic, share it with like-minded people, and like all my episodes. For any further inquiries, you can DM me on my Instagram account, Tasmai Krishnan, or please do follow my Instagram account, crick_static, for any further cricketing updates. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you were riveted by this episode. Thank you once again. Ciao.